What's up, all my Power Addicts crew, coming to you recorded from under my Jeep. Alright, here's the deal. I'm riding down the road and I keep hearing some weird popping going on from the back end of this thing. I'm like, what the heck? Where's that coming from, you know? And so I crawl underneath here to check things out. The first thing I notice, which I've already put it back in place, is this leaf over here. One of the leaves are rotated outward a little bit. I'm like, they're supposed to be like that. Obviously not. They're supposed to be evenly stacked up and down. So I'm like, okay, that ain't right. So I took a hammer and beat that sucker back in place. But the thing of it is, if everything's tight, the leaves shouldn't move. So then I started looking a little bit closer and inspecting a few things. So let me show you something. Now, whenever you put your U-bolts and everything in, you tighten everything up, you torque them down properly. And if you got new U-bolts, they stick down a long distance. I mean, all the U-bolts I order, I end up cutting 4 or 5 inches off the ends of them, okay? Now, look at one of those U-bolts. You tell me something's wrong. I'm going to pause for a moment. Let me change the angle a little bit. See how this one's sticking out where I cut it off? This one's sticking out just a little bit where I cut it off. This one's about flush with the end of the nut, but this one's recessed up inside there. What does that mean? That's right. That means this one right here has this nut right here starting to work loose. That ain't good. And I had one over here doing the same thing as well. You can see I've already got the torque wrench on it, tightening everything back up. So here's the deal. What you should do whenever you put U-bolts, and you replace your U-bolts for swapping rear discs, putting lift kits in, whatever the case may be. And I did this, but still yet, I'm still getting issues with them backing off. Whenever you install new U-bolts, you tighten them down, and half-inch bolts, if you look at all the charts and stuff like that you find online, half-inch bolts should torque at about 70 pounds or so. So I've done that. Then I travel about 100 miles or something like that, put about 100 miles on the springs, let them settle, and bolt stretch and all that stuff you're supposed to accommodate for, torque them again to be sure they haven't moved. Well, when I retorqued them a while back, everything's good. But then I hear all this weird popping and stuff going on, and come to find out, my U-bolts are starting to work loose again. So, got my torque wrench and tightening them up again. So let's check, let's just see how much torque. I've already done a couple of them, but let's just kind of go across the rest of them and see what's going on. Now, one thing you want to do, one thing you want to make sure of is whenever you torque down, see how that one right there is recessed? Whenever you torque down U-bolts, you don't go here, 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 or anything like that. You want to cross them, you go like 1, 2, 3, 4. Cross them like that, because then you get an even pull on your boat, and the plate being pressed against the springs, you get proper seating and everything. So you cross your pattern, go here, 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 and keep doing like that until you got all of them with the proper torque. And like I said, these are half-inch bolts right here, so torquing these down about 70 to 80 pounds or so. Let's see if I can torque this down without knocking the camera over. Okay, check my torque settings on my torque wrench, be sure it's proper. Okay, I've got them set for 70 pounds. See, look at that, I've already turned it quite a bit and the torque wrench didn't pop. There it goes. That one's good. Come back to this one. That one's good. And like I said, I've already done a couple of these. There's one of these that was really, really, really loose. Look at that one. See? I've got a little pressure on that one. Let's go over and check them again. See, that one turned even more again. And check one more time. Cool. Now let's check the other side. Okay, so I dropped the ball in the video the other side, but honestly it's the same process as I did on the driver's side. Crisscross back and forth, set them at about 70 pounds is what all the charts and everything I found of what you should do with 1/2 inch bolts. And I did find a couple of them that were loose, tighten them up, torque them to the proper specs and everything. So what I'm going to do, I'll drive it for about another 100 miles or so, come back and check them again. Now, well, I don't know how many miles I'll put on it now since I discovered this, because where I was working, which I'm not working there any longer because he laid me off last week, but nonetheless, 35 miles one way, so it's 70 miles a day times 4 days, because I worked 4 10s, so, and did that for several months. So I mean, it's a lot of miles put on it. Then I started hearing some popping here recently and discovered this. So point of the story is, put your U-bolts in for your lift kit or whatever it is, your rear end swaps, whatever it is. Use new U-bolts, put those in, then you torque them down to proper sequence, come back 50 miles later, check them just for the heck of it, come back 100 miles later, check them again to be sure the spring settles and also like that doesn't loosen the bolts up. And from that point on, just whenever, I don't know, whenever you just like, I need to check them, get down there and check your bolts and see if they're backing out. Like I said, I don't know how many miles I've got on these right here since I've done the rear end swap, but I've got, you know, probably a few thousand miles on them. Then I heard that popping, that spring was knocked out of whack, and as you've seen, I had some bolts loose. Why did they back out? I have no earthly idea, but they did. So I just want to bring it up for you guys and give you guys a short little quick tidbit video. Whatever you're doing, your maintenance work, or even if you're changing brakes or whatever the case may be, it doesn't hurt to grab your torque wrench. Sorry about that, mosquitoes after me. It doesn't hurt to grab your torque wrench and go underneath it, and all the things that need to be properly torqued, double check them, okay? So there you go. So if you guys got a little something from this video, hit me with a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and leave me some cool comments down below. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Be sure to share these videos out to your Twitter, your Facebook, Reddit, whatever social medias you guys use, okay? Cool. Share them out. So everyone, I really appreciate you hanging out with me. Peace out. Later, y'all. Here's a quick tool tip before I close this up. For everyone who's never used a torque wrench before, especially the click style, you set your poundage wherever you want it, you know, 60 pounds, 70 pounds, 80 pounds, whatever the case may be. But before you put it up, before you put it in its case, put it away, back it off. See how loose that is? Bring it where it's loose, then just spin it till it just stops. Right there, just leave it alone. Because what that does, there's a spring mechanism side here. If you leave it under 70, 80 pounds, whatever your setting is you're using, if you leave it like that, after a while, with all that stuff under tension inside there, it would no longer be accurate. So what you want to do, you'll see where it's loose like this, spin it, boom, it stops right there, because that keeps all the mechanism inside here, just tight for moving around. But that spring is not under tension, so it doesn't throw the accuracy off over time. Cool. All right, there you go. Peace. Later y'all.